Hello, everyone. Hi. My name is Janken Sensei. How are you? Oh my God. Oh, that was my life for way too long. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. My name is Janken Pomme, and today I tell you everything you've ever wanted. Well, I'll try my best about being a teacher in Japan, being an English teacher in Japan. I will share some stories of me being a teacher, and if you have any question about that topic, I will do my best to tell you what I know. I am very passionate about education, and I am not a teacher anymore in Japan, so take it as you. Well, I'll tell you my story anyway. So you'll see. But yes, so today is a bit of an informative kind of. I'm forever a sensei though, Sai, definitely, with my infinite wisdom, right? Yes. So more informative. I know there's a lot of curious people like on YouTube, especially that always, they Google for, they do search for this kind of information, and I thought maybe I could share with you. Wisdom doko everywhere. Like, look at how large I am. I am made of wisdom. Thank you, Pillar. Thank you. So, yeah, as you can see, I don't usually use that often, but I wanted to try it out. I am using the Q&A function from YouTube. So if you click that, you can directly send me a question, and I will kind of triage them. Well, right now I don't have much, but if you do at any moment you want to ask me something about it, please do so. If you know someone who wants maybe to go live in Japan, because let's not lie, okay, let's first thing, we're gonna clear something real easy. Okay, we're gonna clear something real easy. It is the easiest way to live in Japan, to at least have the experience of living in Japan. Easily. So that's why I think there's a lot of people that may consider it, and I want people to be ready if someone ever wants to do this big jump. I made this big jump through that, and I really wanted to be an English teacher. I think I said at other times when in streams in general, like other topics that I ever had, I love education. English changed my life as a French Canadian man myself, as a Quebecois, and I really wanted to give myself to young Japanese that want English in their life, right? And there has been some wins, there has been some, I don't want to say some loss, but so it's definitely things that did not always go very, very well. So knowing is half the battle. So if I can share some of my knowledge. Thank you for the question, by the way. I see them. I will be answering them a little bit later. Maybe like through me talking about it. So yeah, so I want to really share as much as I can about teaching English. I said teaching English, and I see Cherubi in chat asking about other languages. 100% feasible. Yes, 100%. There is needs, but the thing is that English is the big one because it's taught in school, right? There are some places that will try to find other languages, but English is by far the easiest. This is why usually it's English when we think about this, because, okay, first, explanation. about that, right? Japanese system has English as in their curriculum. They need English teacher. They have Japanese people who, you'll see, who can teach and talk English. But a lot, by the way, the BGM is a bit loud. Maybe I'm just going to reduce that a little bit. And they need what we call an ALT, okay? If you're ever interested in teaching English in Japan and you do not know ALT, you're gonna need to learn a little bit about that, and this is why you're probably here today. ALT is basically assistant language teacher. I'm kind of lying here when I say that I was a teacher. In one of my job, I was a bit more, right? I had 2 positions that were about teaching English in Japan, and I'll touch both. So an ALT, right? Every school in the country, and when I say that, I mean even like the most remote little places will require an ALT. There are 4 students in the school. They still will require an ALT if they are teaching English, because that's the thing by law, right? So they have a need. They have a need for a lot of people because there's a lot of school in this country, right? So this is why, like, English again is the most the easiest, like, to come in, right? And I won't lie. Usually you need to come from an English speaking country. I'm from Canada. I'm quite French, believe it or not, and I have zero education in English. But you know, you talk to me and like you realize really fast that, like, oh, this guy's gonna be fine, right? This guy's gonna be fine, especially for the needs, and that's another topic, like I will also cover, for the needs that there is at being an ALT in Japan, right? So, you know, kind of like curving like the requirement, like, oh, have you had like an English education? Yeah, I mean, I had English classes, like, oh, as a second language, but you don't say that. Yeah, lying arc Janken is forever and ever, even from before the stream. But yeah, they will most of the time accept even the country that maybe it's not like they don't have their first language as English. I've seen it, like a Frenchman, like very French, like for friends, that will become like an ALT. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. Yes. So let me just read a little bit with you guys because you need to. Yes. Okay. Good question, Sai. I will insert it right now because it is like about the topic. No, you do not. You do not need any teaching qualification to be an ALT. Even if you wanted to become an actual teacher, your certification might not be enough. Like, Japan is really picky on choosing teacher. There are ways that I'm going to explain that is not ALT a little bit later. But yes, that's the thing. That is why a lot of people are considering, because they want to live in Japan. And to be honest, you're okay. So before I explain a little bit further, there are, in the ALT division, kind of becoming an assistant language teacher, there are many ways, but I would say 3 to get your all your work visa and all your stuff. First, what you do need, otherwise it's going to be very difficult, you're going to need a university degree. You're going to need at least a bachelor degree. Or more, but if you have more, it's like, what are you doing? Like, there's surely like better options for you, but unless you're very unlucky, and that's all you can find. But because in Japan you can't have a work visa full time if you do not have a university degree. That is just a fact. You or there are ways, but they're complicated. They're very complicated. And for the ALT position and other like teaching position, like most of the time, they will at least require that you have a degree at university. So not per se in teaching qualification, but at least you have to have a university degree, right? And after that, there's three big options. Two are ALT, the third one not really. The first option is the JET program. If you've never heard of JET program before, you probably never were interested in being an ALT. The JET program is a government-sponsored program affiliated with schools, and they are recruiting all around the world to get new ALT. And they are very, very picky and difficult. I think I can share that without like telling you too much. I personally tried twice to apply to the JET while I was in Canada. It did not, the first time they did not even like consider like to even reply. I took it very hard. And the second time they got the interview with me, I was extremely nervous. I don't know why. Usually I'm not super nervous, but I think I was nervous because I knew there was a Japanese part. And I'll be 100% honest with you right here, right now. You do not need to speak Japanese. I know you should, but you do not need to speak Japanese to do this job. You should. It helps in every ways, but you do not need to learn Japanese for that. Like, especially for that. I'm also the kind of person who believe that we should use more of the target language and less of the native language in a class. But yes, anyway, so I failed. And I was like, I don't want to continue like just applying to the JET, and it's once a year kind of thing. It's not like you can apply like forever. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. Maybe I'm too old. They have the JET program is kind of a PR campaign too, because you're affiliated with the government. They pay very well. This is probably the best way to be an ALT in Japan. Long term though, the JET program doesn't work because you can only do it up to 5 years. After that, you're on your own. Still 5 years, like some people just want the experience, that's fine, and then you go back, but that's something to consider, right? And the other way is through actual ALT companies, because there's a lot of them. I'm not going to mention the one that I work for many reasons, but I will say that I was not in the Tokyo area, right? Because that's the thing, is that I told you at the beginning, right? They have needs all over the country. And the thing is that Tokyo is so popular, they don't have much needs in the Tokyo area. And most of the time they're cheap. They're super cheap because they know people want to be in the big city, right? And you're better probably finding like other places all around the country. I was in a decent place. I was not like in the middle of the inaka in a small village. I was pretty well located. Of course, like not like very, how can I say? It's not in a metropole, just like Tokyo, for example. But I did that for a couple years through a company, and it's just like a job application, and they will help you to a degree. Like I don't even remember if they paid the plane ticket. I don't even think they did it for Jet though. Like I told you, like they pay for everything. They pay your apartment, they pay for your plane ticket, they pay for you to go see your family once a year. It's really the luxury kit of being in Japan. Like I had friends through the Jet program. It's like wow, like, and they earn more money, Like it's truly like the luxury cruise of being an ALT in Japan. However, there are pluses of not being an ALT is summer holidays and holidays in general. In the Jet program, they do not want you to take days off like when the kids are not working, so they will ask you to warm bench. And this is going to be another big topic about being an ALT, but I want to talk about the third option. The third option to me is not a great option, but it is an option, and it is not an ALT. It is technically a private tutor where you would be working directly for a company once again, but as something as we call an eikaiwa. Eikaiwa is basically a private school. Nah, not really, not a school. A private institution that like gives lesson, like specialized lesson. There are some eikaiwa for like the younger folks, there are eikaiwa for the workers, for older people. Like they have like services, like it's like a teaching services. This is probably the best way to describe it. So that is like your three way to be an English teacher in Japan. Like I said already, I went through the route of getting a job directly at a company that would place me in a school. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the big thing. You also don't choose most of the time in the Jet program either. And that is the big thing. Because imagine like thousands of school, right? Thousands of school, and you don't really pick who you're going to work with, the kids you're going to work with. And it's RNG. It's up to luck. Being an ALT, you can have the best experience ever. Your kid can be like great kid, motivated. They want to learn English. Kind of rare, but and you can have a great motivated teacher. Yes, the school gotcha basically. And in my case, I had like very weird experience, to say the least. Yes, but before I'm gonna start talking about my personal experience, I want to see some of the question you guys sent. Let me just like put this a little bit bigger. Nando said, oh, by the way, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna say the name of the people asking a question. I don't think anyone wants to be anonymous. Did any student ever try to correct your English in a wrong way? There are funny stories where, okay, funny story number one, I guess. There's many of them. There was for a time, so, you know, kids are little shits, right? Teenager are little shit. And they will want like to try to be funny, right? They will want to be funny, and you're just like, okay, yeah, you're a kid. Like, just like, haha, get out. And sometimes they will tease, and you will have to like kind of teach them that like, no, you cannot touch my titties. No, this is improper. Like, this is not appropriate. And just like boundaries, that kind of stuff, right? Because they're a teenager, and especially like the boys, they try to prove themselves. And then, yes, true story. And then at some point, I had this band of boys who they were on a joke that I was not about. And what was the sentence that they were always say they would give me a sec. Um, what was it? It was something about saying hello in a certain way. Um, I'm trying to remember to prove that like I don't consume what I'm about to say. It was like, hey guys, yes, thank you, Miss Janken, thank you. It was like, hey guys, and then I was like, I was not understanding because I was like, it's too good in English to just like, hey guy, but I'm alone. They would say that to me, like when I'm alone, like not with another teacher or anything. They would be, hey guys, and then I was like, at some point, and they were like, like finding this really, really funny, and I was like, what am I missing? What am I missing? And then I don't know if it's like me talking to Ms. Janken, figuring out by myself. I'll finish the sentence that they're not finishing because their English is not great enough. And if you think you already know, well, I am tipping my hat to you guys. But the rest of the sentence goes like, hey guys, we got a gift for you. Do you guys know where that comes from? Do you guys know where that comes from? I'll say it. I'm not even going to censor myself. I think I've heard this story, but maybe I said so. It comes from Pornhub. And then when I learned about this, I was like, oh my God, these little shit. And then I would literally tell them like, erogaki, yamete. Erogaki. And then they would laugh even more that I call them erogaki, like which is like little like pervy brat kind of thing, right? And they would like find it really funny because now they were like, oh, he's onto the joke. So yes, in a way, like they were not trying to correct my English, but like they were kind of like saying a sentence over and over again, and they made me question my own English, like why, what is happening? And there have been a lot of things like that, something they hear on the internet and then they reuse it, but it makes absolute zero sense. That would happen often, so often. How can I say, English here is really a quote quote cool thing. It's a medal that like you put like on your chest. It's a trophy. It's not something really like, oh, actually, now that I talk English, I have more chance in securing a better job for my future. It's really more seen as something by a lot of people, of course, like I'm not saying everyone, but it's really seen as something just like for fun or like having a good laugh. It's not like serious. Some people are very serious, but like in general. So this is why these kind of things happen. I mean, I can imagine a lot of people now spamming anime words to Japanese. Yeah, basically, that's basically that, Nando. That's basically that. But imagine now that all the kids all have English classes, so in a way or another it happens like at a very, very bigger scale here in Japan. So yeah, let me read another question before I continue the stories of me being in a gacha school. Van said, what's the most interesting memory of you when you used to teach? My God, there's so many. Let me talk about my experience first, and then I'll touch on this subject. So for me, yeah, Justine being teens, yeah, pretty much. So for me, I got two schools that I had to go every week. You can get assigned many schools a week. I knew people, they had 4 schools a week, which is like, okay, that's a bit much. That's a lot of people to remember. I had a school that was an elementary school, and I had a what is junior high school, not high school, junior high school. And these, by the way, elementary school and junior high school, are usually the one that are the most in demand. There are less ALT, I think, in the high school, the regular high school, and this is usually the one most in demand. So basically, it was a bit crazy for me. I started in a school, in the elementary school, where there were no teacher, there were no other ALT. They had no idea what they were doing. It was a brand new school, beautiful school. Really, like, I love like working there, just because like it was a brand new school. Like, they just renovated a couple of years ago, and it was like kind of weird, because I was in a situation where I was like, they were telling me, do everything, please. And I was like, I have never done this in my life. I was panicking hard. I was panicking so hard. Oh, that is one of the good point, Ratapo. The food, you got to pay for very, like, it's super cheap. But because in Japan, they serve like fresh food to the kids, the teacher also eat the same thing. It's very cheap though, and it's like a full meal, like, and it's never the same. You get to taste everything like the Japanese like dishes like ever had, because you'll have like almost every day a different meal for a complete year. So that was one of the very high point. I really miss school lunches. It was a great experience just for that. Sometimes though, you don't like it, you don't get to pick, but for the price and for the discovery, that was great. That was really good. But the hard point, like, really, sometime you can be left like in a situation where I was, where you are the they call it P1 and P2, if my memory is correct, as a P1, which is you are the teacher. They will have someone in the classroom with you that will be like the homeroom teacher, right? Because they can't leave you in a class alone, because you're not a teacher technically. I've never done that in my life. T1, yeah, T1, T2, teacher 1, teacher 2, of course. I don't know why P1. It's my QA life that's taking over. But yes, and I was panicking real hard. In the end, I just followed the textbook. I was not happy. I wanted to do more, but it was my first time, and like, I'm teaching kids that like have no idea what is English. It was really rough, and I had very little support from the school. Luckily, you find in those schools that there are always like that one teacher that actually enjoy English, even if like it's not like their first language. And I have had a teacher. He was a bit eccentric. He was a bit crazy, and he was kind of my ground, like, for making things better, because like he was trying hard, even if he was really terrible in English. But like, even like through like having this hardship, it was an okay experience. At least, I had the reign, and I could be like, I'm gonna try my best to teach those kids as the best as I can, even if I never did that, right? And the thing is that once you realize how it works, especially at elementary school, They repeat themselves all the time. It's like the same thing all over again. Like in every grade, you see material that they've seen in first grade. There's no progression. It's only repetition. Even like when you get to junior high school, like it's the whole cycle restart, and you're just like, you guys learned that in elementary school. No, they haven't really learned that, because there's no like actual real gating if you do fail. So people like they just they forget and move on. Yes, but as Carol said in the class, there was a lot of even in Quebec, like for second language, often it's like that too, right? It really depends on the student, and this is where, if you're ever a teacher, I'm gonna tell you the secret right now, at least my secret. You just like in everything, like you cannot make everyone happy, right? You cannot reach out to everyone. That's okay. You find your anchors, your students that like they actually enjoy it. They actually will make English out of their life, and you focus on these students. It's some people would say it's not fair, you should like give like everyone the same attention, but it's just like some people, they just don't want the attention, they just don't want it, and like of course I give it, right? But if someone like is like, I actually want to learn here, okay, I'm here for you, that's my literal job, right? And this at elementary school, that really made it better in a way. Yeah. And then after that first year, because I a little bit complain, even if I'm not supposed to, that like I'm not supposed to be like the first teacher in the class, and they should really have like someone who's a English teacher that I support. That's supposed to be my job, right? And they did provide it, and then it was much better, and I grew in that school, and they liked me. I had like a little Japanese girl that actually was American, and she came back to Japan, like just like in the anime. Way too young though for being like actual like kind of anime character, but I just like the returnee students, right? And they felt like terribly alone, being like perfectly fluent in a school where nobody speak English except me. even like the English teacher that came, like her English was not perfect. It was pretty good, but it was not perfect. So I had to help some kids. So yeah, you cannot make everyone happy, but you can make everyone sad. Go there and be annoying. Huh? I'm bringing the teacher philosophy with me on Monday. Wow. I've never heard that expression, but no, please do not do that. Do not do that. They're just going to give them a terrible experience. Come on. Swear to God, he's a troll. But yeah. And to that, I can maybe answer to Van's question about one of the interesting memory. I can say, at least when I was in ALT, all the students that I helped personally, I remember, and I hope that they do too, because when you can really tell that like you made a difference, man, this is where being a teacher rock. All the other thing that I have to say that they suck hard, but to be like that person who made a difference in like maybe in a couple of years, it's gonna be like water under the bridge, because life happened and other priorities can come, but maybe, just maybe, like you will be like someone that they will remember, and they will be like, from this point on, like I will like continue English, and I will like work harder to, even if, because that's the one thing, right? That's the one thing I kept telling my students, and I made sure, because I understood Japanese society. I was like, they will judge you. They will judge you because you're good at English, but you need to not listen to them. I know it's hard, and you're gonna be told you need to do like the group says, and you need to not disturb like the group. But please do not let that like stop you from learning English and doing the thing that you like and you want. That's still important. You still exist as a person. And you shouldn't be told to not be good at English, because that's the thing. Some people will be mocked. Some people will be bullied because they're good at English. That is a hard reality if you ever have to be a teacher in Japan. It is just part of what it is. Like, some people will be like, oh, no, it's not as bad as you think. It depends. It depends on the school. It depends on the teacher. But let me tell you now about my junior high school. And I will just say that I don't want to give too much detail because that would be pretty revealing, but I went in a school where there was a story of the unfortunate reality of Japan that I'm sharing a little bit here, and I hope people don't look into it, but I was in a school where there was a kid that, after being bullied and they could not reach help, they decided to end it permanently as a junior high school student. That is like one of the first things that I learned when I was given that junior high school. And it started like that. Can you imagine? I make the big jump to be like a teacher in Japan, and like you from the start you learn that like something like that happened in that school. And that's just the hard reality of how things are. And I was just like, what are the odds? That's so crazy that like it's rough. It's really rough. Like, you start and like you're already confronted with this reality, because like I just said, they're bullying is a real problem. It's a real problem in school because of like when you're different and that kind of stuff, right? With the Japanese culture, it can, especially the kids are not like mature enough. But yeah, and if that would have been just that would have been fine. But then I don't know if it was related or whatever. The teacher I was working with, because in junior high school they can't mess around. In junior high school, English is a topic, like actually graded and everything, so they need actually licensed teacher of English. So usually at junior high school, it could be that they ask you to be the T1, the first teacher, but you really shouldn't, and you shouldn't accept it either, because it's kind of a little bit against the law. just a touch, especially the way that they're doing their reform. So yeah, so basically you will have to work with a bunch of teacher. Now, I've worked with every type of teacher. I have worked with the kind of teacher that they are talented. Their English is actually pretty good. It's surprising, but they don't really care about the English classes. They care more about being homeroom teacher, because that's a thing in Japan where, especially in junior high school, it's a little bit less about like the topics, about like all these classes, about math, about Japanese, about whatever. It's more about like all the responsibilities, because there's so many things to take care of in the school. They have to clean, they have to make the meal, they have to do so many things. And then the homeroom is like an everyday thing, and then they have a diary that they need to like do every day, all the kid, and then the homeroom teacher has to read them and has to like comment on them, and it's like it's a whole thing. It's, if anything, it's the thing. And then the actual topics of studies are often like a little bit like not as important. And then me, I go there with like, I'm gonna teach those kids English. That was really how I felt. I was just like, I'm gonna kid those kid English, right? I was like, English is important. I know it. I'm super well placed to know as a person who learned English as a second language. So I'm gonna make it different. And then you just arrive there, and the teacher don't care, and the student don't care, and you're just like, oh my God, I had so many problems just like trying. Okay, story. During COVID, Japan was not ready. During COVID, Japan was not ready, and PCs at home are not a big thing either. So, while a lot of people like around the world had like classes like online and all that kind of jazz, schools are not super ready for that. So in at least like the school that I was, they were given tablets. They were given tablets so they can at least have something if they ever have to work from home. And and that costs a lot of money, by the way. But anyway, I disregard. And now what it means is that everyone has a tablet in the class. And what do you think in an English class? You have a tablet is going to be your greatest and like mortal enemy that you will try to fight the best you can. You're going to try to explain to the teacher. You're going to try to explain to kids, but it's still going to happen. What do you think is the number one thing? And this thing has access to the internet. What do you think is the one thing that they will use like every classes all the time? You cannot teach properly because this thing exists. What do you guys think it is? No, it's not social. They don't have access to. You're thinking a little bit too much. Not something to distract them. Something that will not let them like actually like learning English. And it's like it didn't have engagement between conservation. I used to read that language class. Have foreign. I mean, no, but no, it's not a mobile game. It's Google Translate. It's Google Translate. It's Google Sensei. It's such a problem that we call it Google Sensei, just like Miss Janken said. It's such a joke that like they don't care, and they just like they do all their assignment by like typing in Japanese what they want, and then they're just gonna recopy what is on Google Translate. It was insanity. It was literally fighting a demon, like to not have them like use Google Translate in the class, because like there's absolutely no point. You're going there, the teacher does his whole lesson, and then in the end they take their tablet, they do everything, and they just like transcribe what Google Translate without them understanding whatever they're saying. Like it's crazy. It was really a plague to deal with them knowing about that. And sometimes you had like the very serious one, but it was making it very, very hard to have them come in. And then like you talk to the teacher and you're like, hey, like we really can't have that. They're like, oh yeah, we can't really do anything about it. And you're like, are you kidding me? Because in Japan, like it's not a restrictive kind of country, right? They don't force people and kids do in a way, like just like, okay, we're gonna take all your tablets from you. Like that's what like I feel like in Canada, in Quebec, like the teacher would like, okay, everyone brings me your tablet. You're not allowed like to use your tablet. They would never do that. I'm about to change my final writing assignment to being in an in-class essay to combat this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You have to like contour. You have to like make things that you wouldn't do just because that existed. And the thing is that about you keep asking about the environment, Ratapol, right? Is the problem is that the environment, you want to have it. I wanted to have it, right? But when I am like in a junior high school, I am the T2. So basically, a lot of classes, I would be in the back. Teacher would do his lesson in Japanese and make me very, very angry that he cannot like use English in an English class. And then like they're like, oh, Janken Sensei, please read the word of the day. And that's the only goddamn thing that they asked me to do for a whole day. Yes, we call it in the ALT world the recorder sensei. Like you're literally a recording tape where that's the only thing they want, because you're gonna have the right accent. And then that's the only thing I do. And then I had this one teacher who can't even himself do it properly if I did not do the accent, because, I'm French and I'm Canadian. If I did not do it like the book said, the American book said, he would give me shit. Even if the only thing I'm doing And this guy was just an artist. Like, he was not a bad dude, but he was like by the book kind of guy. And it's just like, my dude, the day that you're ever gonna be able to say those words with the same accent as a Japanese person, we'll talk. But like, yeah, he would like give me like shit once in a while. Like, not, he was kind of a good guy, so he would not really like be that much like picky about it, but that did happen. And sometimes that was my only role. And then they would give written assignment every class, the most boring stuff ever. And then you try to interact with the students. Some of them are responsive, some are not. But yes, in the end, the environment, like, even if we had like some tricks to like kind of make it like more lively, I had very little power as being a T2, and with very non-responsive teacher whenever like we reach out to them, right? Yeah, this is getting even more problem. Yes, with AI, it was not as big, I think. Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? But they don't care. They have expectation that everyone like speak like an American. I used to see a school that proposed the idea students go planting with teacher. It was based on I mean, they still do it. It's all curriculum. It's all like part of like the homeroom stuff, like I said, right? They had like this big flower box that they would like work on. And that's all fun and nice, but that's not in English. English, like, no one cared. And the hardest reality is that, and that's really hard, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped being an ALT. They don't give a fuck about you. The teacher, they don't give a fucking shit about you. I was in a school where they really didn't care. Like, I had like a shitty desk with no PC, no laptop, no nothing. And then they would come see me and they would say, we're doing a class of grammar in Japanese all day today. We don't need you in the classroom. You can stay in the homeroom the teacher room. And then, yeah, that was my day. 8 hours. I would like go out, talk to the kids whenever like they're not in class, and then good luck like trying to engage with some. But that was all I could do. And then my employer was like, oh, make some like board like that they can interact with. And like I tried that, but you know, you gotta almost force them. And then, you know, when you force a kid, they're not really learning. They don't want to be there, even if you force them to like come like talk to the English sensei. So me being there doing nothing all day was driving me insane. Imagine, I went to university. I went to the trouble to move to another country, to then being told, we don't need you. And my company would not let me go leave earlier because I have to be there back on track for 8 hours. And that would happen often, very often. And that's, unfortunately, even with all my motivation of teaching those kids, there was just like, the system was fighting me so hard. I was just like, for me, and I don't want to discourage anyone, right? I don't want to discourage anyone. Because like I said, I kind of rolled very badly at my gacha. There are other people, they talk about their experience. They have very motivated teacher, very motivated kid, and they're having like such a great time. They work very close with their teacher. That's the thing too. I had only male teacher, and they were the kind of like, do not want to interact, do not want to like cooperate. We're doing our own things. We're talking in Japanese like between us. We're like not even talking in English when we talk to each other. Like let's say like an English teacher and another English teacher, they would just interact in Japanese, and it was just like this toxic, like kind of like the leftover toxicity that you can feel from a school that had like the issue that I mentioned earlier. But that's my experience. All right, that's what I want everyone to know, and that's my experience, and that can happen, and that can break you, because I love English. Teaching English, I love languages. I said it many times, but that broke me. That broke me for sure. And then I got in trouble because I like, ain't no way I'm gonna sit my ass 8 hours there not doing anything. Life is too short to sit on the fucking desk while no one talks to me, because that's the other thing. No one be like, hey, you don't have a class today? Oh, like, and then start a chat. No, that would just not happen. So yeah, it was kind of hard. Let me read a question. Maybe we can change the mood a little bit. How was teaching experience teaching a second language to students with English? I kind of already answered that. One of the things that I like to do, especially when I was teaching at elementary school, I wanted them to understand that I know what they are going through. It's at junior high school, like they're kind of in that phase where they don't care as much, but I would like I had this trick. So I may not look like that, but like I was like kind of a party goer in the class. And I had this one trick. I was like, okay, you see Janken sensei right now, English. And then I would like do like a 360, and then I would like start speaking in québécois. Ah, voilà, vous allez rien comprendre, vous allez voir, là, je parle en québécois. Là, ça, c'est ma vraie langue, en fait, là. Moi, je parle pas anglais pas tout. J'ai appris l'anglais comme vous, là, quand j'étais un petit Christ, là. Puis, vous allez rien comprendre de ce que je suis en train de vous dire, comme tout mon chat en ce moment. Peut-être à part, genre, une personne, là, qui s'appelle Caro. Mais il n'y a pas personne d'autre qui va comprendre quoi que ce soit de ce que je dis. And then the face, seriously, I made it just for their face. I made it just for their faces. Their faces, you didn't understand everything, Nando. You're such a liar. You may have understood some stuff, but their faces, it was worth like all the money in the world. They would just like, just what happened. Their brain just like explode, just like they don't know. And then I tell them, I also learned English. Just like you. When I was your age. You can do it. And I hope that it reached some of them, right? Because to me, that was my key to be relatable to them, right? Because of course the American is there and he's doing his American thing of talking English, but American doesn't know any other language outside of American. And then just like, you wouldn't understand American men, American women, because you don't even speak a second language. And an American man, what can he say? I guess. You know? So, yeah, I was trying to use that a lot. Okay. You understood everything. Okay. He's practicing. I hate it. You're ready for tomorrow. Anyway, let me read another question. How curious were they about Canada, as nobody mistook Canada for another country? Oh yes, they would often like mistake Canada for other country. Like sometime, like they don't even know about Canada, and even less Quebec. Actually, one of the things that was the most popular when I was in elementary school. Elementary school, I'm not gonna lie. Elementary school, I had some really, really fun moment. I had some really like good time at elementary school. And there's the Q&A like right there, Miss Janken. It's okay, I'll answer after that. So one of the things that I loved the most was I made a special class that I was leading. And it was like intended, and it was like in every grade. So I made sure that like it was like can be understood by like all the grades from 1 to 6, and then it was a Quebec. It was a Quebec. I was about to say Quebec stream. Oh my God, the streamer brain rot. The brain rot. It was a Quebec class where I would teach them about Quebec, basically. And then the one thing that blew their mind, and it brought me a smile in my face all the time, is to teach them about cabane à sucre, which is a sugar shack, and to teach them about maple syrup on ice. Every time blew their mind away. Even teachers. I even had teachers that did not even know. And that was fun because like even like the teachers were kind of reacting. And I was like, that is so cool. And of course, I teach them about poutine. Obviously, I have to cheat. Not to cheat, but I have to cheat it in. I have to talk about poutine to my little Japanese people, right? I can't use the box. It's fine. I'll answer your question. So that was great. To be honest, that part of like kind of sharing, like, I don't know if they're going to remember, right? I don't know. But I always try to make it eccentric enough so they do. But that was really fun. That the cultural part was fun. As long as they care a little bit. To answer Ms. Janken a question, the kyosoku, by the way, is the meal that they serve us every day. My favorite kyosoku, curry rice was pretty good, it's true. Did I have anything else that like blew my mind? I can't remember. It's been some time now. I know that I like learning about the amepan. No, there's a sugar bread. I'm forgetting the name. There's a sugar bread that is extremely caloric, extremely caloric, and they have it like once or twice a year, and it's an event when that bread. Because they really like it. It's very, very sweet. And I've learned that it's part of understanding and keeping in touch with their history. The agepan, that's correct. Thank you. Of course you remember. The agepan. And it's important culturally because this is the one thing that they would feed people during the war because it had everything, right? Not in the sense that it's nutritious, but for energy. And yeah, and it was fried. And it was like kind of like in a rough kind of, you know, with people that didn't have a lot of money, that kind of stuff. So it was interesting. It was interesting, and having that bread was super, super sweet. Thank you for the sub. But yes. Exactly. It was really interesting to learn history through food. But yes. Of course, it had to be related to maple. Of course. Some people, I did not even understand how maple syrup is made. They have maple syrup. They've heard of maple syrup, of course. But like they had no idea, like, oh, it comes from a tree and you have to boil it. And you go, huh? Oh. Surprising a Japanese person is the best fucking thing ever. Huh? I could do it like all day, like when they go with their kind of face, like it's just oh, and they go like, oh my god, that was great, like because there's a lot like that they don't know, right? And culturally especially. So yes. No, but the food unite people. Food unite people, you know? So it was great to use it as an anchor. Let me read another question before. After talking about ALT, I did something else for teaching English that I like, but comes with very, very high cost. What English word has caused the most confusion for students learning about it for the first time? Oh my god. There's a couple word that if they have R, in them, they can't make the impossible. Like impossible. Hello, Unstoppable. And oh no. Oh, Miss Janken, she just went and she answered. Okay. Yeah, this one's a big one. She's like, I got you. Ah, yes, 6. Oh, they think that 6 is so funny. The funniest shit ever. You've never seen a 12 years old laughing so fucking hard at the number 6. Oh my God. You're just like kids, but in a way, at least it was funny. I'm Snoopy. You can see that Miss Janken also has a lot of experience, a lot more than me actually. She could be the one running this show right now, but yeah, I had some kids. They were so great, like like little shit, but somehow they're good at English and you can just have fun with them. Ah, man, like everyone says it, and I'm sure that Ms. Janken would agree. You don't do it for anything else than the kids. That's it. That's someone who's still driven to do this in Japan, like for a long time, 100%. It's not about the system. It's not really about like hard teaching English, like like you go there like I was, like very driven, like they're gonna learn English. I'm gonna like put them in their system, either they want it or not. You do it like at the end for the kids, at least the one that like cares and like make it more fun. But yeah. Another question. How did you end up in Japan to teach English? And that's easy. I applied to a job, they hired me, and I moved to Japan. I told you, this is the easiest way to be in Japan. Now, how come I am not a teacher before anymore? Because I have other skill sets. And I managed to find something according to my skill set. Yeah. Is your co-teachers nice to you? I pretty much already answered that. It depended. Some no. I had a teacher who could not speak English. I could not speak in Japan. I had a teacher who could barely speak English. That was awkward. That was really, really awkward. I was like, how? I was literally like, how? How are you an English teacher? How is it? How did you pass? Like did they just like take you because like they didn't know better? Did they not have anyone else? Hello, Rick. Hello, Irashai. Welcome. That was so confusing. And this guy, he would always cancel me. Oh, we're doing a class in Japanese. You don't have to come. And I was be like, my dude, you're not helping anyone. But yeah. And then the last question I have for now: what's the best way to a Japanese girl's heart that is not really about teaching English, but I would say be rich? That is a very, very, or Disney, I guess. But yes. While on school, do you commute without car in Japan? Yes. I can't drive. I'm an old man and I can't drive. So I would use buses and bikes. And now, well, and then trains when I was like closer to Tokyo. Yes. And talking about closer to Tokyo, at some point I was like, I can't be an ALT anymore. I can't do this. I can't really hello Zay. I can't really do this anymore. I love English. And then I found what I thought would have been a great alternative. In person for the English teacher is just a gym teacher because he live abroad. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's how it is. That it is sometime that's just how it is. And sometime you have the most random teacher who do not teach English. They're fluent, and you go like, your English is better than the English teacher. I'm not kidding. This is a true story. True story. True story. It's just like, you're more qualified than the English teacher, and then you're not an English teacher. Yeah. Sheesh. And that happens so often. So, solution. Want to continue teaching English, but cannot do the ALT thing anymore. I found a great way that ended up not great because I lived in Japan. I'm going to tell you right away, okay? If you ever feel like I want to experience Japan, working there, just for a little bit, and then fuck off. And then just go back home. There are companies like the one that I work for. And to be honest, I recommend it because I had a good time. I had a good, well, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, this one's going to be funny. I had a good time when I was doing it. They hire, exactly. You come for a year and you don't have to pay resident tax. It's the best of the world. They fly this company. They work for university directly. They offer like what's the correct university word? Someone's gonna correct me. But they non-curriculum. There we go. Non-curriculum English classes. So basically, extra classes, right? And you don't technically need a university like master or more, because these are non-curriculum at universities, and they will pay you everything to come. They will even like find you an apartment, and they will do everything. But the thing is they expect you after the term to go back home, and they will even fly you back home. But if you don't, they have nothing for you at the end. Now, in my case, that was a very weird case. I applied for them and everything, and I'm supposed to be assigned a school. And then they tell me, you're going to be a replacement teacher. Huh? Yeah, you're going to be a replacement teacher. So, if we need you, we're going to contact you. I got paid for months. And I'll say it now. That probably kickstarted my streaming career. That probably kickstarted my streaming career. They paid me for months, the whole semester, to be at home waiting that someone needs replacement. Yeah. At the end, though, someone did quit, and I had to replace them for like almost a month. So at least I can tell my experience about that. It was amazing. It was amazing because it's a it's not a I was not actually they had two types of classes, but I ended up doing the classes that are not worth points, right? non-curriculum one. So the people, the students, and now they're young adults, they care. Most of them, at least. Because it's non-curriculum, and they're old enough to like make the decision to be there. That it was like my classes sucked because I was not prepared, and it was kind of like at the end of like the whole thing. So I was just following like whatever like book that they gave me. So I was kind of following that. Where it really shined, there was like periods of activities, like in between, like the section of the class, and it was free talk. And then, man, I would teach them about so many things. I had a guy I remember vividly was telling me about how he's watching Nijisanji Ien to learn English or to help his English. That he was like, I love VTubers, and I'm using like VTubers as a motivation. And then I had another guy who was into politics, so we would talk about pretty like deep topics in English and like teach them words, right? And then I would like bring games, because I'm a big believer that games is an amazing things to have a language used in, right? When you have to use the game language, and then you have to communicate because you need something in the game. It was great. Like, I had fun like interacting with those students. And yeah, exactly. Little did they know, the teacher is a VTuber now. yeah. But it was super fun. The problem was they don't have anything for you for like outside like the 3 months that they contract you. And then I was like, oh, when is the next one? Oh, it's in like four months. What am I meant to do for 4 months? I don't know. They don't care. Like the employer, like the person, like the contractor, they don't care. So you're screwed. So I was like, that's really sad. Yeah, that's the thing, is that they go home. So if you are ever like, I want to have the Japan experience and not have to pay for rent, for the flight, or like a lot of things. Actually, did they pay for it? I don't remember. But like, anyway, they find the apartment for you, and like you have everything. It's a great experience. Come in, experience like the life of working in Japan, and then go back home. Like, to me, I highly recommend. I recommend that before committing being an ALT. To be purely honest, I recommend that before, especially because like it's paid compared to my ALT experience. I had to do everything by myself, unless you get the JET program. If you are a lucky one and you get into the JET program, then for sure. So I would say JET program, and then university contractors, like I found. And then, I didn't talk about Eikaiwa. Eikaiwa sucked. A lot of people told me it was terrible. It's very, very business oriented. But yeah. And then regular, like finding a job through, but you have to be careful though. Make a lot of research, okay? If you are really interested, do a lot of research. because there are bad companies. And I'm not gonna slanders. I don't want to be in trouble, but yeah, there's a lot, especially the one that serves around Tokyo. I would say they're kind of scummy. Yeah, but yeah, overall, teaching in Japan, the biggest problem for me, and I think it's worldwide, it's the system. Because you can't win against the system, and the system is not made for real education, I feel. It's sad because they need it. Like, I remember having conversation with Ms. Janken about that, how you have to prepare them for those exams. You have to prepare them for those exams, even if it makes no sense, even if the exam are bad, even if like what they're learning might not make sense for actual proper growth in English. You got to prepare them for those exams, because those, without those exams, they can't continue. They need the TOEIC. TOEIC is a standardized test of English. It's not amazing. Yeah, it's not like based on like functional English. Yeah, that's the right word. Functional English is what I wanted to teach. I wanted them to teach functional English. But the whole system is like not made for that. And then they recently, a couple of years ago, started having more focus on talking, on communication, voice communication, which like is something they were not even doing like many years ago, like 10 plus years ago. So yeah, maybe one day it's gonna be like made to teach actual functional English. But that's the thing, if you ever come here to do that, you have to be prepared. It's not about teaching them functional English, which what I thought I would do. I was like, and then that's the thing I also misunderstood. I was an intense kid. When I have learned myself English as a kid, I was intense. I really wanted to play those fucking games, okay? And I could not understand the video games that I had, and I needed English. I needed English because I was already a gamer as a kid, and I would go through a lot of learning to be better at English, right? And yeah, it was kind of different. But that's the thing, right? I did find some of those kids too. I remember that I had some wholesome moment. Like, that's the one thing. When I think of, let's say, my other careers, I don't have like precise moment where I was like, oh, that was a moment I'll forever remember, right? I had a students in elementary school. I think I may have said this story before, so bear with me. Old man repeating. I had a students who, the first class that I had with them, I saw their pencil case. They're very proud of their pencil case here in Japan, okay? It's no jokes. People like actually care about those things, about like their goods, their tools. And that girl, she had an Undertale pencil holder. And I was like, there's no way I'm in Japan in the elementary school, and this girl in like 5th grade or something has a Undertale pencil case. I was like, because Undertale is one of my favorite games as an adult. And then I'm like, do you like Undertale? You know, simple English. Do you like Undertale? Yes, I like it a lot. I was like, oh, I really like this character. And then they realize, oh my God, someone knows that thing that probably a lot of other students don't. And they were like completely like subjugated that like we talk about something that we both like. And as students, they were one of my best students. They were very shy, but like they really cared about English and they wanted to communicate with me. Like I remember she was like telling me, oh, I've started playing you know, the spin-off of Five Nights at Freddy's, not the most recent one, but what is it? I forgot. But one of the games in the series, and I was like, "Wow, you play Five Nights at Freddy's?" It's like that's too scary for me. when you get your students that have more courage than you, and they're like kids, woo. But yes, those moments, like man, they were the best. I've helped students do her contest speech, and she won. I don't think she won the whole thing, but she won at least the one that she did. But yes, you can ignore my question. Said it can drive. Does it mean neighborhood in Quebec is designed and walk friendly as it's removed? Not as much as Japan, that's for sure. But that's a bit off topic. That's a good question for tomorrow, though. Because tomorrow, it's like Quebec is going to be the topic. But depending on where you live, yes, Montreal, you can use the metro, the subway. But outside of Montreal, not very friendly. Not like here. Here, you could be like in a smaller city and still have some ways to use transportation. Yeah. So yeah, if you guys have more question for me, go ahead. I've said my bit. All I can say is I love languages. I really wanted to come here to teach. I did my best the time that I did it. But in the end, it was just like I could retry again, but I feel like I've been hurt so much by the system that for me, I kind of don't want to fight a system that is not my system, if that makes sense. And it's not my culture. Like, as much as like I can have educated opinion and I can like say what I think is probably best to learn English, in the end, well, I'm a voice, right? Oh, I love the study, city design. Take care of ourselves because yes, I've been in Montreal for a while. You do need to resign yourself to the system. Exactly. Because like if you fight it, I was fighting. At the end, I was just angry. You know? And you don't want angry Janken. Let me trust. Like let me trust me. Let me tell you, trust me. You don't want, like, there's nothing good that's coming out of like me being angry. It's not very productive, and in the end, like, no one wins. You know, just things like one of my favorite example, one of the things that made me the angriest, because this story I've told so many times. We give an exercise to the students because we're kind and we don't want them to use Google Translate. maybe too kind if you ask my personal opinion. We give an example text of a good text of what would look like their essay, kind of. It's small. It's like 1 page. And, you always have those students that don't care. And that kid is like, I'm the smartest in the world. They take their glue baton and they glue the example sheet on the other side, and they glue that on the exercise sheet, and then they give it to the teacher and saying it's done. I get it. You can't make all the students care. I get it. Some student will fail, and that's their own problem, and you can't save them. But to me, to accept that, I was like, what kind of message are we saying? That like you can do whatever you want? You can like try to make a fool of the teacher? And I remember I brought this to the teacher and I was like, this is unacceptable. You can't just like say, okay, yeah. And they're like, oh, but like some kids, they just don't want to learn and you can't do anything about it. And like, even if like you told them like to not do something, it's not going to change anything. And I was just like, what kind of loser are you right now? What kind of loser are you to be like, oh yeah, well, like they don't care anyway in the first place. So I was just like, bro. I had conversations sometimes with some students. They were like, I live in Japan. I don't care. Why do I need English? And you're like, it's like I'm back in Quebec. Teachers are scared of kids and parents. Yes, that's the truth. And parents' meetings were happening a lot in that class. It was common sense. You had to try to let those see that even if you can't please anyone, yeah. But like, that's the thing, is that I remember, oh yeah, oh my God. That is not a good example, that I'm so sorry. I wish that I could give you more of the good one. I gave you some of the good one. But there was, what was it? There was a world, oh yes. There was a conflict that happened. I don't know which one. And one of the students made a joke about a world event that, kind of things where people died. And the teacher made some jokes about it. And I became angry. I was like, that's not funny. People died. And usually I would never do that in a classroom. But that's the thing, is that there was just no disciplinary action. Yes, school absenteeism is really common. Yeah, they're scared of like this kind of things. But like, I was just like, man, trying to convince like teacher to be role model and trying to teach. I was just like, nah. And I get it. And a lot of people would say, oh, the teacher, they start at like, like 7:30, and then they're expected to leave at like 8 p.m. And I was like, how? Because they have to take care. Oh, you remember when I said all those homeroom and all those responsibilities and everything, and then those diary that they have to read and a note every day. It's rough, man. It's really, really rough. Like, there were days where the cleaning was done entirely by the teacher for a reason or another, and then they have to stay. I love education, guys. I love it, but that was rough. I feel like okay. There is some good. Trust me, there is some good, but the best way for you to experience it, like I said, if you have a way to come in, check if you like it, and then come out, I would recommend that this is what you do first, right? Because some people are not going to be like me. Like, I'm easily affected by all this. But like, maybe for you, just like, it's part of the system. It's fine. It's part of the game. Like, as long as like, I have like a job in Japan, and like, I like that I make a difference. Like, I seen very, very happy ALT, that like their school love them and that they're an integral part of their school and all that jazz. I really wish that for everyone, but it's just like sometimes it doesn't work. A region would teach a person consequences as showing the reason what happened next. It was a regret because someone acts out. Yeah, no. Every school is different. Yes, and that. Yes, it's true. It's true. So yeah. Oh, I have one more question from Nando. I think we're gonna probably wrap it up after that if there's no more question. Were there a lot of parents versus teacher battles in Japan education? Yes, but I would never see it. Because they would literally, at least at my school, they would cancel the classes because parent meets was happening on the day. And then they go in the class all turn by turn, and then they kind of interact directly with the teacher. And I was told that there was some parents that were very, very difficult to deal with. I've never seen it, but I know that they were taking it very seriously. I wish they canceled my classes for parent meeting. Surprisingly, they cancel classes very easily in Japan. Like I said, it's often more about all the activities and all the responsibilities than the classes themselves. Yeah, and they take a long time in the class. So yeah, so it's like a whole week, yes. Yes. There is a lot of like mismanagement of time. Yes. 100%. 100%. But like I said, my experience, you could have a completely different experience, right? And at the end, I think I made a difference. So that's the most important of all the negative stuff that happened. To be frank, I remember more the activities and responsibilities in my school years than the content. Yeah. And that's what I told myself after all that. If I'm speaking English to you now, if I work in English related jobs, if I consume English, all that, it's clearly not because of school. It's clearly not because of school. Yes, I had some moment. I told you many times, I have this one teacher who made us learn Queen. This guy, forever remember him because he did that. I don't remember jack shit of his classes. But learning We Are the Champion when I was in grade like 2 or 3 in high school, forever remember that. And I will tell you the truth. I was trying to be like that too. But the problem is that it's hard when you're not like the first teacher. But I was trying to leave impression to the students. At some point, I realized there was no point in trying to teach them functional English. I was then trying to be the face. And to be honest, my company, back then, that was their main point. You are the face of English, right? And it kind of had a point, even if I did not always see eye to eyes with them. You are the face of English. So leave an impact, make an impact. To be frank, I would care only if what you eat daily, because I focus. But outside of the food was great though. But I would say, if you ever like do that, you come here and you become an English teacher, leave an impact. Make it worth their time so they can like one day being like, oh yeah, that big dude, Janken sensei, he was funny. Oh yeah. I remember like one of the things, what was it? With some of them, I would have like kind of recurrent like jokes, you know? Yeah, we're global ambassador above everything else. Yeah, that's what they say too. That's what they say too. You can't be inspirational every day, but sometimes the entire work can inspire. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I forgot. I was about to tell you. I think I said it before because I like repeating myself. But I did something when I was in elementary school. I used VTuber. I told them, because the hardest thing for people here is to understand why English. Why would I want English? And VTuber were not as big as they are now. If I would have done this now, I would reach to them even more. I would be like, look, this is VTubers, Japanese. They're trying to interact with another non-Japanese VTuber. They're using English as a medium. And it was, okay, I remember exactly. And maybe, is that too much information if I tell you? You're going to be able to do maths in your head, but that's fine. It was the Picora Muna, like friendship when it first started. And even if Picora English sucked, hey Muna, look, come here, like very simple. I was like explaining to them, it's about communication. They're trying to make something happen and they use the English that they know. And then Muna was trying to use a little bit Japanese because she can't really speak Japanese too, right? And to me, it was like this VTuber moment of Muna and Picora is one of the most beautiful intercultural, interlanguage moment, especially because it's getting old now, right? It was at the start, like where like it wasn't that common. Now it's all the time, right? And to me, and I was trying to explain to the the students, because there's a world out there. You could have more opportunities, and then you could even enjoy more media if you had this communication tool, right? So some of them, I think, got it with this. And to this day, I said it before, one of the reasons I'm a VTuber, and I wish I had more contact with the Japanese side, is because of that, because of the world exchange that comes through VTubing. I feel like regular streamer won't do as much collabs as VTuber. VTuber collabs is a big part, right? And to me, to have reach to all those people, all those languages, I've been very lucky. I've been very close to Indonesian creators, like Ray and Ollie being two, and others. My artists being in Indonesian, yeah. To me, it just makes sense. To me, it's not about having a sexy old man with his shirt half open in front of you. That's just a bait. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. To me, it's about all the exchange. That I'm poor. It's okay. You don't need to pay for anything. Just enjoy. Oh my God. We spent 2 hours without me explaining the thumbnail. The most stupid thing I had to use as an English teacher, and it's overused everywhere, it's the sentence, "Let's enjoy." It looks like I made a typo and it's weird, but let me tell you, "Let's enjoy" is everywhere. It's as if no one ever taught anyone here in Japan to say, "Let's have fun." Because that's what it means. That's what it means, right? And then every time I would hear, "Let's enjoy," let's enjoy what? And then, "Let's enjoying." I've never heard "let's enjoying." Let's enjoy. It's always like that. Let's enjoying? That's terrible. Let's enjoy what? Every time it would get me. And a lot of this is a reality. And sometimes some teachers are very, how can I say, they have a big ego, and you try to tell them they're wrong. Not all of them will take it. But anyway, it is a challenge. It is a way to live in Japan. It is valid. I think it can be an option if you ever are interested into that. But I think that I've made enough warning sign to not get caught being like, "I wish I knew." Right? Because at some point when I was in there, I was telling myself, "I wish I knew." I kind of knew though. I did a lot of research. But at the same time, RNG. Anyway, we don't have any more question. But if you are watching the VOD and you've made it this far, bravo, first. And second, I will answer to question in the comments if more question comes. I think it's valid, right? If they are great question, I will be answering them in the comments. So if there's anything you wanted to ask, or if more question comes later, please feel free. My goal here is to share the knowledge about being a teacher in Japan. I hope it helped. I hope it was not too negative. Trust me, the good moments were really good. And the rest was just like unfortunate in a way. Oh, actually, the biggest thing, if you are the kind of person who's like, I don't mind like not being in a classroom and being told to not do anything. I'm going to work on like X or Y project while at work. Then this is for you. Like I knew a girl who was writing a book. So she would use that free time to continue the book. Another guy, he was doing a talk show and he would prepare his show. My coworker does a whole podcast. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was about to say podcast. So yes. So that could be perfect for you. And in a way, now that I'm more serious about streaming, I'm thinking sometime maybe having free time like would help. But I know myself, and I can't work well if I'm not like in the comfort of my home when I do creation stuff. Anyway, tomorrow, by the way, if you're not aware and you just like caught this stream today, we are having a learning week. This was like the first stream about learning, about, you know, education, about like sharing the knowledge of something. And tomorrow, you know what? I wanted to do the waiting room before, but I didn't. I had fun. I had a lot of fun doing this thumbnail, and I want to show you guys, I think. And I will be going doing the waiting room after the stream. Where is it? Did I save that? No, I don't think I saved it. Give me a sec. It's pretty funny. So I'll say it because anyway, it's on the schedule. Tomorrow is going to be how to talk like a real Québécois. And it's not going to be entirely in French, so don't be worried if you don't speak French at all. There will be a lot of French, right? There will be a lot of cultural learning, and it's more like an accent kind of stream. So if you're wondering like the Quebec accent, like how it works and all that jazz, there we go, boom. And if you are Québécois, the word that I wrote right there, or written in the sense that you have to read it un vrai Québécois, which is very, very not French. Un vrai Québécois. And I think we're going to have fun. I'm going to take the board and everything. I'm going to write like the tricks to sounding like a real Québécois, or at least what I think. The biggest trick is it's all about nasal sound. That's my biggest trick. It's all about nasal sound, but I'll teach you more tomorrow. Do you have la ceinture fléchée? No, I don't have that here. And we have the obi. We have the obi here in Japan, Caro. Do you know about the obi? It's another kind of ceinture. Oh yes, and I think I want to use my Quebec accent when I will speak in English tomorrow. You know about the obi, you are so very smart. all right. So that's going to be tomorrow at the same time as today. And tu connaissais pas la ceinture fléchée? Oh yeah, Vora, you're French. Oh, you're going to have a lot of French. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of French. I think I remember now. I was like, yeah, what am I guy? Yes, I'm hype. Okay, well, I'm happy if you're excited for it. but it's gonna be very specialized. So I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, but I don't actually say nut, not in that context. Anyway, thank you everyone. Don't give up on your dream. If you want to live in Japan, being an ALT, being an English teacher is a great way. All right, fist bump in the chat. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for dropping by today. Thank you, everyone. All righty. I see the fist bump. Thank you. All right. Be great. Be someone who, no matter what, no matter the hardship, aim for their goal. Even if sometimes it's not perfect, nothing is perfect, there will be issues. I came in this country through this. It was not easy. It was maybe not made for me in the end. But you know what? I'm still in Japan. And without it, I wouldn't be here. So sometimes it's just like, you know, moving forward, following the dream, and find happiness maybe one day. All right. And have a great day. Have a great evening. Have a great night. No matter where you are, no matter how far, have a great time zone. And I'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Japan time, which was the same time we started the stream today, which is also 8 a.m. for now, EDT. And we're going to have mon oncle Janken. Oh, that's terrible. I cannot say that. Mon oncle Janken gonna teach you how to sound like a vrai Québécois. All right? And we're gonna have fun with words and accent and all that jazz. That's tomorrow. And then on Friday, because why not? Let's talk about the whole schedule. I'm gonna have this annoying Portuguese man over there in chat. He's gonna join me. And he's gonna teach me some basic Portuguese. So you're gonna have a lot of fun of me trying to make Portuguese sounds. And I hope he's not gonna teach me dumb stuff. If you teach me dumb stuff, I'm gonna have Google Translate, and I'm gonna fact check all you give me. So you better like bring me like very basic Portuguese so I can actually start talking Portuguese. All right. I'm sure he's gonna slide one. I guess you should have gonna say, hey, at least I was a trustworthy teacher, all right? Anyway, that's Friday, and on Saturday, I am doing cooking. I know one of you have been talking about a lot of food today. I'm doing a cooking hand cam. First time doing tsukemono. Very simple tsukemono, by the way. Nothing like completely crazy, but tsukemono by itself, it's rarely super complicated anyway. Tsukemono is basically a Japanese pickle, basically, and it's not long-term pickling, so we're gonna have the result like kind of fast, maybe same day, maybe the day after, and then I give you a review. But yes, I have a lot of Japanese veggies for that. I'm very excited. And yeah, yes, I love pickle too. And that's gonna be on Saturday morning Japan time, so it is evening time if you are in the Americas. All right, well, for now we're done. Let me see if I have a VTuber friend I can send you to. Oh, Willem is streaming. He's my man. Oh wait. Kuni is streaming. I don't send you guys over to Kuni often. He's gonna be like, oh, I wanted to raid into you, Janken. He's gonna say that. Last time that was what he said. So say hello to Kuni. He is streaming, I think, Overwatch. And as usual in the chat. Come on, why is it not working? Uncle Janken raid. the fist. There we go. So just say that to Kenny when I send you over, all right? Okay. Well, I leave you now, everyone. See you tomorrow for some Quebec shenanigans. You can say that in the Kenny's chat when I send you over, all right? And with this, I say, Otsu Janken. See you, everyone.